The Autobots are set to roll out into battle with the evil Decepticons for the fate of their world in Transformers War for Cybertron. It's a new take on the robot universe that manages to retain the classic Transformers look and feel. Are these robots in disguise worthy of your time, or should they be sold for scrap? Set near the end of the Third Cybertronian War, Megatron, leader of the Decepticons, enacts a plan to use the Dark Energon to corrupt the core of the planet. Meanwhile, the Autobots, having suffered heavy losses, mount a counteroffensive against Megatron in order to purge the planet of Dark Energon and save Cybertron from total destruction. It's a solid backstory that explains the history between Optimus and Megatron, and reveals how many of the characters first met. Much of the narrative unfolds during the action via scripted events and banter between comrades, and there are cutscenes at key junctures. There aren't many twists or surprises, but it'll keep you entertained the whole way through. The darker tone fits the game well, and both newcomers and fans will appreciate it.
I, Starscream, have taken my rightful place as your leader!
Starscream, you half-wit! I still function!
The battle for Cybertron takes you to both sides of the conflict with campaigns for both the Decepticons and Autobots. There are a total of 12 chapters in all, each with numerous missions. You're free to jump back and forth between the campaigns at any time, and you can pick which side to start on. It's also quite a lengthy trek, with each side's campaign easily lasting around 5 to 6 hours apiece. You can replay each level down to a specific segment as many times as you wish, and you can pick from several characters to suit your playstyle. Transformers is a straight-up third-person shooter with gunfights at every turn. Two companions tag along for the ride in every mission under the control of other humans, or AI fill-ins if that isn't an option. It doesn't help that the friendly AI is incompetent in crucial situations, so if you go this route, expect to shoulder much of the grunt work. In addition to the story campaign's co-op mode, there are also 6 versus modes with several maps for each. You'll have 4 different classes to choose from, each with unique abilities and weapons that are unlocked as you level up. You can tweak your classes, mixing and matching to create a setup that suits you best. If competitive multiplayer isn't your thing, there's another cooperative mode called Escalation. Think Nazi zombies with a Transformers twist, and just as addicting. The story campaign's co-op can also turn competitive with the addition of a score counter, which displays for all your friends just who the top gun in each level is. As a third-person shooter, the controls for Transformers are pretty straightforward, but there's more than meets the eye here. Every character can transform in real time between the robot mode and vehicle mode, each with special traits and abilities. When in vehicle form, the controls change enough that there's a small learning curve, but it quickly becomes second nature. What might throw a wrench in the works is the default control scheme's transform button, which is mapped to the left stick. It's all too easy with the analog stick sensitivity to press on it and accidentally transform in the heat of combat. Aiming is tight, and it's easy to quick snap to targets with the press of a button. Weapons are simple to use, and there's no shortage of points where you can swap it out for a new firearm. As for your robot's secondary abilities, they're varied and effective. Offensive classes can dish out brutal melee attacks, while defensive classes can heal allies and set up barriers. Some come with a cooldown to prevent overuse, but others, like dashing, can be used repeatedly. When you transform into vehicle mode, a new set of weapons and abilities become available. It all adds up to a lot of variety and flexibility. But no matter what setup you pick, simply running into a firefight is ill-advised. Though there's no proper cover system, each area is littered with debris and other objects that provide suitable protection. You'll have to advance strategically lest you want to meet an ill-timed death, and learning to use the environment to your advantage is crucial. There's also the ability to jump, which comes in handy for reaching higher ground to gain the advantage, and it's also useful to traverse the terrain for the game's few platforming segments. Combat is intense and engaging, and you'll crave more long after the fight's finished. Cybertron is a bleak and bland world devoid of color and very repetitive. It certainly feels like a robot homeworld and stays true to the Transformers universe, but the textures and details of both robots and environments could have used some more attention. Animations are smooth in most cases, and everything runs at a constant clip. Minor visual bugs aside, it's a fresh take on the franchise that really works. The The soundtrack mixes orchestral pieces with flashy power rock segments, equally as pleasing as the voice work, with all manner of familiar talent reprising roles for both sides. You'll catch yourself wanting to stop at almost every random conversation to listen in on the banter.
That thing! Who cares? It's shooting at us! Shoot back!
War for Cybertron is a good shooter that'll hold your attention for dozens of hours of enjoyment with its multiplayer thrills, and the campaign is well worth the trek. Though it's certainly a fan pleaser, its appeal isn't necessarily limited to those who know what Generation 1 means. This game definitely has the touch.
Omega Supreme. Enemy status. Terminate. Autobots, roll out.